call the regular meeting of the Planning Commission, June 19th at 7:01. All rise for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Belkey excused, Henderson here, Shaw,
Here.
Grand,
Here.
Katie Jasek,
Here.
Patterson.
Here. Okay, anybody got anything for the agenda? Otherwise, we will look for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second. Oh, flip the coin.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any public comment not,
What, you forgot the minutes?
oh, minutes, sorry. Everybody get a chance to look over the minutes?
Yep.
We're looking for a motion for that as well.
Motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of May 15, 2023.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, anybody have public comment that doesn't pertain to anything we're going to discuss, any other issues? Okay, with that, we will move on to the SALU application for 74280 Fair Street, the Armada Fairgrounds. Becky's given us a little packet of everything that they're looking to get going with and on the fairgrounds. Events that they're holding in the barns. This is not for the fair itself, this is for their extra activities.
And it's not for those specific events, this is for moving forward. That's just a list of their planned events for this year. So it's for them to use their grounds as a banquet hall per se, to rent out those facilities. They are in R1, that does require special approval. That's what
These are all what they have planned as of right now.
correct.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys wanna add anything or let us know what's going on over there? What's up?
Well, I'm the president, so, fair board. So for, many years, probably 25, 30 years, we've been doing some rentals, right? It's been usually grad parties, small weddings, things like that. So we want to continue to do that. We do offer a good service for the community. We also have a lot of nonprofits that use it for free. Free of charge. Some different groups use different buildings for meetings and what such. So it's basically, we've been, with everything, with the rising costs of everybody, we've been just trying to rent it out a little bit more than what we normally do. We've been doing grad parties, weddings, and birthday parties, and a number of things, but especially like agricultural stuff. We've been doing horse shows, and dog shows, and like that. Pretty much calendar year we've been doing it for many, many years. So we just want to be able to continue. We know we're in R1. I know that part of our property is in the township as well, so we are got a half, well, more of it's in the village than it is in the township. So we still want to be able to continue to offer that to the community. We don't charge anything astronomical. We're not like the wedding barns that you hear about that are 10 grand a pop and stuff like that. We're like in an average of $1,000 at that. For any of our rentals, and we just want to be able to continue to do that, and want to be able to offer that to the community and anybody that would like to rent it. We want to try to keep, I think, somewhat low-key with some of the larger venues. I know we had the Vintage Market this year. That was a pretty big one. That was a lot of public people coming in. That was a pretty big deal. I know that the community impact that we do have, we have a great community impact. The week of the fair, and then even outside, if we have a few of those venues. I know that we have run into a little bit of trouble with one venue that we did have was that biker event. I know we did get some flack for that, but we're no longer in relationship with them at all. So at this time, we'd like to be able to continue forward and really, want to make sure we work with you and be transparent. and make sure we're doing the right things.
Okay, awesome.
So I've also spoke to John Paderak at the township. He's aware of everything as well, what's been going on. So he's pretty happy with it as well. So
Okay. Alright, so I guess the only thing we have is just to set the,
Set a public hearing date.
okay, so we are looking to do it on the July meeting, which is the 17th, so that we can get this done and over with for them as quick as possible. Make sure it's over with before the fair, because you guys are quite busy during that whole
Yeah.
month, I think. So, as long as everybody's good with that, we don't need a motion. Just need a motion, okay.
can I just make one more comment
Sure.
too? I just want to make sure the fair itself is still exempt, right? 'Cause
Correct.
Yes.
It's something that goes back, right? There's
Right.
actually some Endard stuff, some 18.
Yeah, this is just all the.
1800 stuff at
Right,
the state
exactly.
level, and there's a whole number of things.
Yeah,
like
no,
that, so
this
I'll
is
make
just
sure.
your extras that you do on
Okay,
the barns
okay.
outside of the fair itself.
Okay, sure enough. All right, thank you.
So with all that info, we're looking for a motion to set an SALU,
To set a public hearing.
public hearing for an SALU.
I'll make the motion that we set a public hearing for the SALU application at 74280 Fair Street, the Armada Fairgrounds.
I'll second.
Wait
So we
for
need a date.
July 17th, I'm sorry,
At 7 p.m.
at 7 o'clock.
And we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is set.
Yes.
Okay.
Just making sure we didn't have our meeting the same night.
Oh,
Because of a Ford, when
We moved a week back, but we're good. We're on
Good?
it.
Okay, okay.
So we're good there. Perfect.
Okay.
So we're just chatting about
We'll
it.
still be here.
and truly, gentlemen, you're done. You don't have to stick around for the rest of it.
Right.
The boringness.
Good? All right.
Thank you. So we'll see you all on the 17th next month.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Rob's probably got a war story to tell you about this fire he was fighting.
It's better now.
Okay, we're on to zoning ordinance review. We're looking at setting something a little easier for people to go through for their site plans and review plans and the whole process of getting people forward.
Can I say
Anybody?
something?
Sure.
Truly, what we had was all the required information. However, we tried to make it too easy for them, and all of the sheets on the back of our application were ways to try and simplify it for them, and in actuality, we truly confused them.
Yes.
We truly did. So that's why we're trying to simplify it. It was, we have all the, asked for all the right information. We were just trying to be too helpful.
Did everybody get a copy? Sam had sent an example of what she had done up. Thinking that this could be a way to kind of simplify things, make it a little more understandable for people that are bringing in.
So this would be the cover sheet of either one.
The two samples?
There's two samples, but one sample was for administrative review, site plan, or sketch plan.
Right.
The other example was for a land split or land combine or a special approval, something that was a little more labor intensive. These are, site plans, or sketch plans, pretty easy, administrative review is pretty easy. But they both would require the same
Cover sheet.
because we still need to know when they turned the application in, did they get denied, did they get approved, what was the meeting date, they have a place for everybody to sign.
Are these two separate things, or
Yeah.
is this an either or?
No, if you look, one says type of review, says administrative review, sketch plan, site plan. On the top there.
Yeah, so on the top it says, both says application for planning commission review.
What's under
And then
what?
under type of review, I saw there were different,
So that's what makes them
That's
different.
right.
just.
That's what makes them different is, depends on what they're asking for.
And that can't all be on one sheet and then that's it? Because that's kind of what the old one was like, right?
That's what the old one was like, and honestly, it was, again, we tried to make it as easy as possible, and we really made it tougher.
Okay, and that's what I was trying to figure out, whether these
Yeah.
were two, and I saw what was different from the original, and it
Correct.
seemed like those were removed.
Correct, so that's all she, that's truly all her, we're trying to split them, but as you can see on the one, she didn't really come up with, we didn't come up with any, all the things that we're gonna require of them on a land split or land combined, that still needs to be figured out, hammered out, discussed, whether you guys look at it and say yes, no, maybe, or whether you say, you know, these are still too complicated, you like the one idea, whatever, this is just Sam's thoughts, and she's just not here tonight to present them.
So we won't, we're not looking to make any kind of decisions tonight.
No, just
Obviously,
discussion.
we'd like her
really.
to go over this a little bit as well. We're just kind of talking about it, seeing if everybody's seen it, if there was anything about it you liked, didn't like, if anybody had any other examples that they'd like to put forward.
I thought it was a lot neater.
Yeah, definitely. The typing's a bit better too.
Well, and one of my areas of concern, something I'd like us to go over, and I know it's something that council sets it based on our recommendation, is our fee schedule.
Yes.
Some things are reasonable and some things are not. Some things are too low, some things are too high. So, if everybody doesn't have a copy of that, I can get everybody a copy, I can send it by email, because like SARU, for example, that's $1,000. And it doesn't matter if I use a planner or I use an engineer, I don't, they have to pay me $1,000, I don't get any of that back. Some circumstances I spend more than that $1,000 on a planner or on an engineer, and then they have to pay the difference. But we could maybe adjust our fee to say it's a $500 application fee plus the engineer, plus the planner, you know, that's all I'm looking to do.
Only if needed to.
Correct, if they need the professional fees. A lot split is $500 plus $50 per parcel. So the
Make it more a la
minimum,
carte.
right, a minimum is $600. Well, some people, it's as simple like the church. They brought us the sketch, this is how it is, this is how we'd like it to be. It wasn't real complicated, we didn't need excessive professional fees. So, look at the little kitty. Oh. Sorry.
That's all right, that makes for good TV.
I wasn't sure if you were being serious or.
I was.
Yeah, he popped his head up.
Anyways, we don't want to make anything cost prohibitive to the residents or the people of the village, so that might be something to look at.
Why don't you go ahead and just email it out to us?
All right, I'll send one to everybody.
Yeah, that'd be
I
good.
appreciate it.
I would also like to ask that we do move along on the rest of the book, because there are several things that we're holding, the glass blowing people. For example, they're waiting for us to finish the zoning ordinance so that they can hold a bigger class than 2.
Right.
So if we could finish the last couple chapters and go over everything we need to go over, anything else or whatever, or have me have the planner put it all together and us take 2 meetings or something, but I'd like to get it finished.
So just to recap, so the fee, that'll be discussed at a future meeting,
Yep.
and currently, right now, because you've seen the latest, is everything fixed, or do we have something that is in there that is tied to inflation?
On what? On the fee schedule?
Correct.
I personally think some of them need to go down for one, like I said, SALU, I don't,
Well, no, I'm not saying, let's shoot for the moon, but what I am saying is, if this is something that we're not going to address in the foreseeable future after we talk about it at the next meeting, we discuss this and have something where it goes up according to inflation?
I don't really know that part needs to, because truly the application fee is supposed to cover the meeting, the cost of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then professional fees are always covered by the applicant. So most things, sometimes you talk to the planner for 20 minutes or a half hour, and so somebody paid me $200 to come in, the meeting costs whatever it costs, $125, whatever it costs, and the planner charges me $60, the village is still okay. It's not costing the village anything to have the meeting to take that plan. But if I'm taking $500 for them and I don't use an engineer, so I think the fee should be based on roughly what you think covers the meeting basically, or the length of time it's going to take to review, and then say plus your professional fees.
Okay, fair enough.
And we don't ever say what our planner costs or what our engineer costs, it's whatever their going rate is. So that's why the schedule does say TBD, I believe, to be
Yeah,
determined.
that was my concern, because obviously their fees are gonna go up and you
Yeah,
wanna have it
It
where,
would be billed at their current, current rate that they're charging us, kind of thing.
so the village wouldn't be eating it if they do increase their costs. That was my main concern.
Correct, no, correct. So, I mean, we have to cover the cost of the meeting, obviously, whatever it costs the village for that, but, so.
And then you said these are just a bunch of Sam's notes.
That's from chapter 18, and it's her notes, basically taking out site plan or sketch plan, or just saying plan,
Right.
or proposed. She's proposing to get rid of this whole little diagram here on the
Right.
front, which, if you don't know what you're talking about, that's confusing. So, just a couple of quick little notes that she did make.
And I kind of prefer to go over all of this when she's here to,
Well, everybody can kind of read it
Yeah, I want
and make
everybody
any
to
comments,
read it.
whether it's, if they like it, they don't like it, they wanna, something they'd like to change about it.
so that will definitely be,
Same thing with her application, her copies.
yes.
It has the information we're looking for. Is there something else you think
I
we
like
should
that she
add?
streamlined it, I really like.
Yeah, that needed to be done.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I think we were making it easier for them, but we were making it more
More,
complicated.
right, just a little
Ended
bit
up
harder
being-
to understand and distinguish between what was needed.
This is gonna be an unusual question, but is the logo for the village copyrighted or trademarked?
We don't really have a logo.
Okay, because I was gonna say, if we do go out and change up the form, put the village logo on the corner, so it's kind of more readily identifiable for the village.
I'd have to do some digging to see. I don't think we really have a logo at all. Our
We
letter
don't.
has never had one,
Not a
so.
bad idea to have.
We had a contest with the school one time to get the kids to do it from their arts craft class, and
But it never got anywhere.
they never went anywhere.
Okay. So we don't have one.
Just something to make it more stand out. This is
I
the
agree.
village of Armada.
I agree.
We could probably get AIS to do something,
AIS,
or
API.
API.
I was gonna say,
So-
are we sure we won't use AIS?
All right, something to look into. So 18 will definitely be, we do know Sam is coming the
She
next.
plans on it, yeah,
Okay.
as far as I
So
know.
we'll have her go over her little notes, everybody make sure you've got all your stuff in order and any questions or examples for 18. 19 was the one we went over with the planner. And there were some things that he was going to check into.
Which she changed the things he recommended.
I guess I didn't get that.
She didn't send them back yet, because nobody ever said yes or no, they're just okay with what he recommended, so she was
I-
kind of waiting to hear from me.
See, I kind of wrote notes that we were in agreement that we wanted them to make the
But it wasn't
changes.
officially said, so I
Well, it is
was
now.
waiting to see, so I will tell her to send
That is
those.
what we discussed at the meeting when the planner was here, if y'all remember, and we had said we agreed that 19 was a bit more complicated than what we could really get into, but that there were certain things that needed to be changed, and we agreed that the planner was
Gonna make those
going
changes.
to make those changes. We're good with that still?
Mhm.
That's what we're doing then. 20 we went over a little bit with Brian as well when he was here. We made just a few changes. He was supposed to look into that 3%. He said he felt that that was very low. So we
He
need to
didn't get
know.
back to me on that, but I
Okay,
will
so
ask
we need
him.
to know on that. He was revising in 2004B,
Yep, yep.
okay?
You're saying the whole A out, right?
Yes. Okay, and that appears to be everything that we went over with them, which leaves us 20.
Wait. So 21 is where the transitional overlay district will go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, so always swing one?
21, and you don't have it in there, we, about a year ago, we approved what they call a transitional overlay district. I'll get you copies of the paperwork for it, and I'll email them so everybody has it, so I make sure everybody has it. And that's what's gonna be chapter 21 now.
That was before you were on too, I think. I think we had Dave then.
Okay, what's that called again?
Transitional overlay district, and the purpose of that is, if I have a building in a district, And it really doesn't have a lot of options for uses except for something that's outside of its permitted uses in that district, but it's historically been used for some of those other things. It allows, it's kind of like a special approval. It allows us to identify, and it's just a particular area of the downtown area that includes a couple of outlying buildings that gives them permission to operate under that other use that would not normally be allowed in the downtown district. But it's not spot zoning, I'm not changing the zoning for that, we're not changing the zoning for that business, but historically, if it was always used for that, that allows us to put conditions and things. So, you know, if it's an industrial going by residential, then we can put noise limits and equipment limits and time limits, things like that, so.
Grandfathering them in with some control.
Kind of, that's a good summary of it, correct. We're allowing it to still, we're allowing the building to be utilized as opposed to sitting empty,
Right.
but we have some control over what it can do.
Okay, so that puts us at 22 nonconformities, which is not a real long one. 23 is the explanation of the village planning commission. 24, if you remember, I brought notes from
We never got
the
those.
what?
We never got any of those.
I will be bringing notes from the zoning board of appeals, where they have actually made suggested changes to Article 24 that really fall right in line with what our plan was.
So we're gonna go to the next one.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. And 25 is just definitions. So really, all we have is 22, 23 is very quick and easy. 24 is, I'll bring notes for that. So let's do 22 and 23, and we should be ready to wrap this up pretty quickly. So yes, the July 17th meeting, we will go over Article 22 and 23. And I will have the notes to you guys ASAP on Article 24. We'll just go over the notes.
And that was what date in July again?
17.
17.
Anybody got anything else for ordinance review? Okay, so in the reports, the only thing I've got tonight is we went over all of that stuff from the Township Planning Commission, and there was the master plan survey. They did extend the date to June 30th, so if everybody didn't get on there, you want to get on and make all your choices.
Or pick a copy up off the cotton table up there and drop it off at their office.
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, is there one up
Yeah, they
there?
put some
You
up.
did one up?
Yeah, online was pretty simple. Takes a minute, but it was simple.
Feels a little leading.
No, what?
Leading.
Yeah,
Like this is the direction we want to go.
this
Of course,
is
you kinda
where
feel
we're
like-
going, right?
Yeah. Like, of course you'd like this, wouldn't you? Like, almost.
Right. Okay. This is just a copy of the letter that we did get already. So again, they were looking for just input, basically to get us to go on and see that, you know, at least all of us did it and recommend to all of our viewers to get on and do the survey. Anything in here, Becky, that we need?
I didn't look at it. We're not gonna go to the annual big meeting, so I'd say no.
Okay. I will look over it then for the next meeting, see if there's anything pertinent. All right, so that's it for reports. Anybody got anything they'd like to add for tonight?
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do.
I knew you would.
I missed 2 meetings. I would like some serious thought given to, we have a part in our ordinance, and we did talk about it, we went over it, about not parking on any unimproved surface. It specifically says you cannot park on any grass.
I tried this.
give some consideration to how we could either, I would say amend that, change it, allow them that if it's they can park in their backyard if it's on grass, or no parking allowed in the front yard if it's an unimproved surface, something. And the only reason I'm saying this is if any of you take 20 minutes and drive through town, in that 20 minutes, you will see no less than 30 vehicles, trailers, something parked on somebody's grass or an unimproved surface. So most people think it would be okay, they don't mind if it's in your backyard, they don't want to see it in your front yard. Or if you have a trailer and you're storing it, store it in your backyard, not, blocking the sidewalk, but you can't block the sidewalk, but people do it, that kind of stuff. So give it some consideration, some thought as to how we could possibly allow something to be parked on an unimproved surface, but not necessarily in the front yard.
Right, so I was thinking of getting a trailer, and I was thinking of putting it behind my shed, so is that?
And that would,
waterproof?
that would not be
Water-
allowed under the current ordinance, because it's not an improved surface unless you put a concrete pad back there. Or gravel or whatever the other surface would allow for driveway. But if it's just a grass or a weedy thing, and technically, and that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That kind of a trailer, a utility trailer, somebody's camper, somebody's pop-up camper. A lot of people pull them up next to their garage. Well, that's grass, and that's not allowed, even though that's your backyard. Our current ordinance does not allow you to do that. So, and even if it's an empty lot, it's technically on grass, it's not allowed. So, we have to be reasonable. You have to think about where we are, what kind of lot you have, and what people have to put in their lot.
Oh, yeah, not everybody can run out and have asphalt and concrete put all over where they.
Or they can't all afford to
Well,
pay.
you don't want everyone's neighbor to become storage lots.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So, I mean, it can still be that it has to be properly licensed or registered or whatever, however that goes. But I'll tell you, I had somebody come in last week and complain because somebody had parked a big, I don't know what kind of trailer it's technically called, like a landscaping kind of trailer, one of those great big one, literally diagonal across their front yard.
Yeah,
House.
it's in the village, right in the town.
Utility trailer.
And it was like, first of all, I don't want to look out my kitchen window and see that,
No.
let alone why with my neighbors. But that's the kind of stuff. So if we can clear up that mud a little bit and maybe allow some, I'm not saying we have to, I'm just saying think about it.
Size limits or
Correct.
register.
Or number of, hey,
Yeah.
you're allowed to have 3 vehicles parked in the back of your, backside, not in the front yard, but, right. Those kinds of things to think about to present.
Now, the elephant in the room, are we talking about also in August?
That we would have to have a way to put an exception to that because of all the people that do park for the fair.
Yeah, the fair's, that's a different
Yeah.
story.
That's what I'm saying,
Right.
I
because
know, we'd have to come up with, whether it's just the week we look the other
Exception.
way, or we come up with,
Because I see that blowing up in Acme Dynamite Kid real quick.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, some of those people, make enough money to pay their taxes, so I can see them yelling at me too.
So who would enforce that? The code enforcer?
Code enforcer does, and he has, or the police officers can. So, the police actually went today to the trailer in the subdivision, so either one of them can, but correct. I mean, if it's not as blatant as that trailer in the front yard, the code enforcer would send them a letter, give them 10 days to move it, and something like that. That was just a big eyesore, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one, you said two.
No, I just said I missed 2 meetings.
Oh, you missed 2
She
meetings.
missed 2 meetings. We missed it.
Yeah.
I've actually got a question about the SALU.
Yes.
So I saw like they had camping on given nights and stuff. I mean, is there like something that says, we have they got 100 people in motorhomes back there, or is there anything, is it just something we wait till it is a problem, or just some?
So, in reality, with a special approval land use, it allows you to give them permission to do stuff, but you can put conditions on it. You have to be reasonable with the conditions you put, because they do have a lot of property. So, if they can, if they can accommodate whatever they're booking it for, we really have no problem with that, we really
So
don't
do
want
they
it.
have to come in for every event? and we
No,
expect
that's what
this?
the special approval does. The special approval says that that particular piece of land, so it's called the special approval land use, that piece of land can now be used for these events, as a, rented out facility for parties and weddings, now, for as long as the fair owns the property. So we can put conditions on that, we can, and it's something council really needs to talk to before next month. We can say if it's gonna be a 3-day non-agricultural event, I'm not gonna pick on any group, but a 3-day non-agricultural event, with an expected attendance of more than 150 people per day, you're gonna have to pay for extra police protection or blah, 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 blah. We can put various conditions, or we can
I
say.
guess that's what I'm asking, I mean, does all of that have to be set in place right now?
Correct, it has to be when we give them their approval, if we give them their approval, any conditions have to be made at that time. So but it could be as simple as, we ask them for, monthly or twice a year, a listing of all things that they have planned. Or anytime they add something to their calendar, please, let the village office know, the clerk know. And then that gives council a chance to look at them and say, whoa, that looks like a 3-day event that's, gonna draw in 1,000 people, that's gonna cause traffic problems and things. So then our council would have the ability to have the police chief talk to them and say, what are you gonna do for this, what are you gonna do for that, and then, they will come up with a price. But we can do simple conditions that anything that's more than a 1-day event, just please let the clerk know so she can let council know in case council has any further concerns, or things like that, it can be easy things, it can be time, no music after 11 o'clock, no.
That's what I was also like.
No
Is there in
fireworks.
here, what time do they start?
No fireworks, that would be another thing, you can put all of those kind of things in there. Now, I don't know that we can stop fireworks on those specific days that the state allows.
There's like 3
I don't know
days.
if we can stop them then, but, we could, I mean,
They dial it back now?
Yeah, I know there's a few days, but I don't know specifically how many.
Yeah,
There was like 11 dates originally.
Oh, I don't think there's
I
11
don't know
now.
how many.
They changed it a couple
It was a
times.
ridiculously large number.
Yeah, I don't think
I think so, but those are the kinds of things, so think about that. Because, now truly, we could have the special approval, or the public hearing next month, but not finish discussing everything and tell them, we're gonna take another meeting to discuss it, they don't need to come to it, the determination will be made at the August meeting or the September meeting, and give them all council kinda already told them they can keep that schedule of events going, they're, okay, in August is the fair, so that's the big thing. And we don't wanna affect the fair. Another condition you can make is that, the buildings pass all fire,
That's
safety,
a big one.
safety codes and regulations.
Well, don't they have to?
Yeah,
Well, let's
until you
just-
said that, I
should
would kind
they?
of
Yes.
assume that's already.
But that's truly how it came to our attention, so those are the kinds of things you can set. We don't know if they do or they don't, so we can make that a condition, and they can tell us, well, it did. I can send the fire marshal email and he can answer me back, yes, they did.
Isn't that set for, they're using all those buildings for the fair, I would think that was.
But it's different. It's different when it's a different kind of crowd, and the fair, people are in and out. You're not hosting large groups that stay into those. They've really modified those buildings a lot. And so when they can hold a certain amount of people, then there's other fire requirements. So those are the kinds of things that we can put in the condition. Any building codes, any fire codes, we can put all that in the conditions. Where we can ask the fire marshal, annually to make sure that they passed all their safety
Right.
inspections or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what we should
So
do.
those are the kinds of things to think about and to look at, yes. And okay, so Joe lives right next to the fair.
right on top.
Right, so think of even how far away you guys live, what would you not wanna hear there? You know, what would you consider intrusive, what, you know?
Or how early?
Yeah, correct, you know, what's the earliest you'd like something to start, how late would you, you know, without being a fuddy-duddy, you know?
Yeah.
You know, what would you consider a reasonable time for the noise to stop, or, you know, that kind of stuff.
And that's why the public hearing too, because the public will have a chance to say, these are the things that we've seen going on over there, you know, these are the things we don't like.
So you know, so I have to send out a letter announcing the public hearing to everybody within 300 feet of any corner of the fair property.
It's a damn near the whole village.
All of Main Street,
Right.
you know, a big portion of the township, you know, a good section of the front of the sub here. You know, they're all gonna get, so all those people who are affected by the noise of the fair are gonna get the letter. So some of them could come, some of them might not, who knows? It will be posted in the paper, so some people that live down there in West Main that don't like the music playing at 11 o'clock at night might come too, we don't know. So, but it's there, and your job is to listen to them, take what they say into consideration. And it could be into consideration for your conditions. Certain things, if they meet certain requirements, we can't deny an SALU, but where we can do is limit the conditions.
Now, isn't campground over on the township side?
In the way,
Isn't that on the township?
campground is in the township.
So, I mean, are we still allowed to set restrictions?
We can set
Is something that's
restrictions
on the
on the
township?
noise, but we can't tell them if that's where the campers park, we can't tell them they can only park 200 campers, because it's not ours to
Not ours,
control.
okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Not our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Alright. Anybody got anything else? Questions on this at all? And as Becky was saying with the public, they are here for comments. We are not here to
Right.
tell them whether they're right or wrong,
Right.
make arguments or agreements. They're here to make comments and we listen.
We just
That's
listen.
all we're doing,
And we say thank you, and,
if we have
Because
to.
we would have trouble with that at council.
Yeah.
that's
the
the next
rules.
one, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so we will go over all the stuff that we have on 18. Anything else you have that you wanna go over? And then we're doing 22, 23.
23, 24.
And 24 is basically just, it explains what we are.
Mhm.
So, you know, we already pretty much know it, if there's
No,
anything
that's
that you want.
23, 24 is ZBA.
24, okay, 24 is the ZBA. 23 is the explanation of us.
And what your job is.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
see
so
any,
there's 22 and 23 for next month.
yeah.
18.
24, I'll have the notes, yeah, and 18,
And
just
18,
what we have.
22, 23, and, okay.
And I'll get those ZBA notes so that you can get them out to everybody. All right, anything else tonight?
Let's go home.
Motion for it?
Oh, motion to adjourn the June 19th, 2003 planning committee meeting.
Support.
At,
7:39.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Done.
Yes.